experiment on shell and tube heat exchangers, right? So you know that the heat exchangers are the one which are used to transfer heat from one fluid to another fluid, right? So there are many heat exchangers available in the, it has wide applications, industrial as well as domestic applications, like the power plants where the air preheaters, economizers, so are the examples of the heat exchangers. Your car radiators, right? This is another example of heat exchanger. So when the engine runs very hot, right, you have to cool it. So for cooling the engine, we use a special type of liquid which is called as the coolant, right? So the coolant circulates around the engine and picks up the heat and it becomes hot. And the same thing, it has to be reused, right? So before it is recirculated to the engine, it has to be cooled, right? So for cooling, it is sent on a radiator. So radiator is an heat exchanger where the coolant temperature is reduced with the help of surrounding air. So when the vehicle is moving, so generally the radiator tubes would be fitted at the front of your vehicle, right? So when the vehicle moves, there will be a relative air motion. So because of the air motion, so your coolant will be getting cooled and the same thing will be recirculated again and again. So like that, there are heat exchangers. So this is shell and tube heat exchanger, right? So that means there is an outer shell and inside the shell, so there are number of tubes are there, right? So the tube fluid will be flowing inside of the tubes, right? And the shell fluid will be flowing the annular space between the tube and the shell. So there are baffles are there which are used to regulate the flow of the shell fluid. So here in this experiment, so both the fluids are water. So that is, the hot fluid is the hot water and the cold fluid is the cold water, right? And here the hot water is flowing, hot water is the tube fluid. So that means the hot water is flowing inside the inner tube, right? Inside the tubes, and the cold water is the shell fluid which flows outside, right? So the experiment, to start the experiment, we need to set up the temperature of the hot water, right? So the temperature of the hot water is set up over here. So now here it is set as 60 degrees centigrade. So the hot water temperature is 60 degrees centigrade, and so for heating, so there are heater coils that are there in the water tank, right? So we can switch off the heater, right? These are all the switch for the two heaters. So once it's switched on, so the heater is getting on and it heats the water, right? And for doing the experiment, generally what we do is we fix up the flow rate of the hot water. So there are two rotometers are there which are used to measure the flow rate of the fluids. So this is the rotometer which is used to measure the hot water flow rate. So this is the rotometer which is used to measure the flow rate of the cold water flow rate. So what we do is in this experiment is we fix the hot water flow rate. So that is around, this gives you in liters per hour. So, yeah, so this is 200 liters per hour actually. So set it at 200 liters per hour, whereas different readings were taken by varying the cold water flow rate. So that is, it is varied from 25, 50, 75, 100, 125. So like
that will be mentioned, right? What flow rates of cold water do we take?
So that will be mentioned in your the question paper itself, right? They'll ask you to set the hot water temperature as 70 degrees centigrade. So keep the hot water flow rate as 200 liters per hour and vary the cold water flow rate 50, 75, 100, 125. That means you have to take 4 sets of readings, right? So now the hot water flow rate is set, the cold water flow rate is set. Now for you need to take the 4 temperatures. So the hot water inlet and outlet, cold water inlet and outlet, right? So for that again, I'm just setting one temperature, let us say T1, and I'm just waiting that T1 to become steady, right? So it will take some time, say 5 to 10 or 15 minutes. So once this T1 becomes steady, assume that all the temperatures have become steady, and we'll take all the other temperature readings. So with the help of the temperatures, we can find out the log mean temperature difference, and we can find out what is the actual heat transfer, and so basically this experiment is to find out what is the effectiveness of the heat exchanger. So the effectiveness of the heat exchanger is the ratio between what is the actual heat transfer upon what is the maximum possible heat transfer, right? So the actual heat transfer is it's either the heat lost by the hot fluid or the heat gained by the cold fluid, or generally what we do is if there is any variation in the readings, we take the average. So the Q actual is the heat lost of the hot fluid plus the heat gained by the cold fluid divided by the 2. So that is the actual heat transfer divided by what is the maximum heat transfer. Maximum heat transfer possible is whenever the fluid attains the maximum temperature difference at the inlet. So at the inlet, the temperature difference available is Thi minus Tci, right? So if that temperature difference is reached, then we can say that maximum possible heat transfer is reached. So this ratio is effectiveness, right? And also by using Q is equal to AU into LMTD, you can find out the overall heat transfer coefficient. So finally a graph is drawn by taking the cold water flow rate in the x-axis and the effectiveness and the overall heat transfer coefficient in the y-axis, right? So this is for so once one set is over, then you just don't alter the hot water flow rate, you change the cold water flow rate, right? So previously let us say 50, now increase to 100, then again you need to wait for some time to the temperatures become steady.
Cold water control valve is here and hot water control valve is here.
So and that will be constant and that we'll have to vary that.
This will you have to vary.
This is the
Cold water.
cold control valve for the cold water. You can just by rotating it, you can see the float goes up and down, right? So if you want to increase, the float will increase, right? And see that the required flow rate is set.
For hot water, what value should we take, sir? What should be set at?
So that's what that will be mentioned in the question paper. So normally it will be 200 liters per hour. The cold water will be 25, 50, 75, 100, like that it will go on, right?